See Beneath Your Beautiful podcast is raw and intimate, sometimes funny, and always entertaining. With new episodes every Saturday, Hara explores our loves, fears, and hopes with a delicious combination of depth and lightness.
I am so happy to be here on the See Beneath Your Beautiful podcast. I'm Dahveed Bullis. I'm a professional artist. I'm a musician. I'm a father, community organizer. And this is going to be such an interesting experience because of all the things that I like to talk about, myself is probably the least of them. I'm really excited to lean into this.
Oh, good. You know, I met you because you were part of the Real Men Project. And you wrote me a long email and told me some of your story. And I was really moved. And that's how we came up with the tragedy and comedy masks. You're not just an artist, you're also or one of the kind of artists you are is an actor. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm an actor, director, playwright. I hold a position as an acting coach, and I've been an acting coach in feature films, but I don't like that term. I prefer to say that I'm an explorer. It's like Morpheus, you know, I'm not here to tell you how this works. I'm here to help you find how it works for you.
Right. Oh, that's great.
That is going to be different for everyone. It certainly was different for me going into it. That's for sure.
I love that. I just interviewed somebody else and we were talking about what makes the best coaches is that they don't pretend to have the answers. They help you find the answers for yourself.
Amen.
You're going to be mad at me, but I don't know who Morpheus is.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. I mean, I think in what mythos is it? Is it Roman or is it Greek?
Oh, okay. It's not like a movie I missed. It's Greek mythology. Oh, it is also?
It is a movie, yeah. The Matrix. If you haven't seen The Matrix.
Oh, I didn't see The Matrix. I'm the only person in the entire world, but my daughter said I wouldn't like it, so I believed her.
Yeah, at this point, it really hasn't aged well either.
Oh.
So I wouldn't push you to watch it now.
I know there's a lot of references to it in our, culture, and I should know it, but I don't.
There's a lot of beautiful philosophy in there.
Maybe one day I'll watch it.
And that's something worth pulling out, but it's like aged milk.
That's not good. Well, maybe someday when I'm really, really bored and I think aged milk sounds like a good idea, I'll go for it.
Perfect thing to watch when you're like sick or something, You're like, I'm prisoner to the couch. Here's this.
Oh, that's what I thought Love Island was.
Yeah. Oh. I'm not going there.
I'm a sucker, man.
Are you?
It's the worst. I feel like I'm pretty mature and sophisticated, but I'm horrible when it comes to trash TV. I just can't get enough.
We've all got our guilty pleasures.
It's the worst. I'm so embarrassed.
If Bring It On is on TV, I can't not watch it. I'm like, oh, Bring It On. This is great.
I might edit the part out where I said I watched Love Island.
Your secret's safe with me.
I don't know how much I want to reveal about my own self.
What do the kids say? Yeah, zip it, lock it, stick it in your pocket.
That's a good one. Okay, so I photographed you and we picked the comedy and tragedy masks because you've been through it. You had a rough childhood and you want to just start at the beginning? I know you were born early.
I was born early. I was born 24 weeks gestation, which my whole life growing up, my mom, my brothers, they'd always say, oh, you're such a miracle. I'd have people in my family who said that. And it was like, okay, whatever that means. And I have a 4-year-old. And as we were marching, doing the old march through the 9 months, I didn't realize just how early that was until my son passed it.
Right.
And I go, oh, dang, if he was born right now, and this is 2018, I was born 24 weeks gestation, 1988, Sacred Heart Hospital. I had a difficult childhood, but I didn't have a rough childhood. And I would say that because I really have the best mom in the whole planet. Mm-hmm. While I was in the hospital, she still has this little cassette tape that her and my brothers made, and they're singing Christian songs and they're talking to me and we love you. We can't wait to see you. And she would have the nurses changing the batteries and making sure it was all taken care of. I was hardly really ever alone. And, then I'm hitting the 2-pound club, the 3-pound club, the 4-pound club and make it out pretty quick. But honestly, I think it took until like last year before I made a realization I don't have a lot of difficulty accessing the cerebral part of the type of art that I do. I have no problem living in my head, but I do occasionally have difficulty living in my body, living in my skin. And it was like probably about a year ago, I made the realization, well, I was born so early, my skin wasn't supposed to be touched yet.
Mm.
And so the first thing I learned how to do was disassociate from myself.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, wow. So, I've been putting a lot of particular effort into kind of reassociating and getting to know, because I've seen my body as this adversary, that it's like, you've always been against me and I've always rose above you, instead of like, we did this together.
Yeah.
like actually kind of incredible.
Oh, that's really beautiful realization.
Really, it felt like a revelation, like a transcendental revelation that was like, holy cow, I've been living wrong this whole time.
And you're 33, is that right?
I'm 32. So I will take that year right back. So yeah, I was born early and then into a single mother household. My mom's disabled, 3 boys. She's raised them by herself. And man, getting out of poverty is not easy. Getting out of poverty, being a person of color and being a light-skinned person of color, trying to make sense of that, which took a long time.
Yeah.
It's still a daily struggle to figure that one out.
Is that because the Black community is not accepting you and the white community is not accepting you? Is that what's happening, or how you think about it?
There was that feeling. So I was homeschooled for 14 years, me and one of my brothers. And, because of me coming out early, me and the brother, we were 9 months apart.
Oh, wow.
Irish twins, And so him and I were homeschooled together. So it was like, we didn't feel weird in our 4 walls in our house. And my mom never, ever told us who to be. She taught us rules, and she came from more than what she landed in.
Okay.
She didn't grow up in poverty.
Okay.
And so we were kind of like raised with a different set of values than like the people I grew up around. Certain mindsets, like you can get out of anything. You just have to push. Just keep going. Just keep going. To get back to what we were saying there's always been this other feeling. I'm not quite white and I'm certainly not Black. And then not having my dad in the picture, I don't even have an ambassador to half of myself.
Right. I
don't even have a way in. And so it's always been a difficult experience trying to connect with that part of myself, because of course there's a lot of trauma there too, and a lot of generational trauma that's passed through there. And so that has been a really interesting avenue of myself to explore. And then now having a kid who he has curly blonde hair, and it's like, what's his experience going to be like?
Oh, yeah.
At least I can be there to help him,
How many siblings do you have?
I have 2. Only one of them is still alive, however.
Oh, okay.
The one that was 9 months apart from me, he unfortunately ended his run early. But that was a difficult one, it's only been 5 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And like I said, my son's 4. And it was like my brother leaves the planet. 2 months later, my son comes in it. And woof. My brother was incredible and probably the greatest musician I've ever known. He could play piano like nobody's business. I play guitar myself. We wrote so many songs together. And so he's always with me, always with me.
Yeah.
It's just too bad. Sometimes the world don't go the way you want it.
Yeah. I lost a brother to a drug overdose.
I'm so sorry.
He was 37. I had already lost my mother, and I felt like, that's like you lose your heart. But with a sibling, I felt like I lost a limb. It was important, but I could still go on. But it was really an important part of me that I had lost. And so I imagine it was even harder for you being so close to him.
Yeah. There were a lot of people reaching out to me because everybody knew how close. Oh, Dahveed and Desi, we were pretty much one sentence, one word. Oh, Dahveed and Desi, Dahveed and Desi. And Des and Dahveed, because he's older than me. I think I'm still unpacking it.
Yeah.
And I think I'll continue to unpack it for the rest of my life. But
yeah,
it's such a strange thing. And it's just a vacuum that a lot of people feel. I really can't go a day without somebody reaching out to me and saying, hey, I was thinking about Des today, man. And I'm like, hey, me too. I'm constantly I'll see a meme and go, oh, he'd love this. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll write letters to him on the anniversary and give him an update like, hey, this is what's been happening, and I love you. I hope you're doing good. Really, my best friend. I wrote a song for his eulogy. It was the only way I could do it. And I couldn't really play it very well in that moment. One of the lines in there, don't you know how much everyone loved you? Don't you care what you left in your wake? You were a giant with a mighty big shadow, but inside it I always felt safe.
Don't you know how much everyone loved you? Don't you care what you left in your wake? You're a giant with a mighty big shadow, and behind it I always felt safe. I still needed you. You were my best friend.
We were just always a synonym of each other, you know? And so I would go to him with everything. And so now I have all these big decisions that I'm like, what do I do? I don't got my dude. So I guess I just got to make a choice.
Have you ever been angry at him for taking his life?
No, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he suffered a lot of loss, and
Yeah.
that suicidal ideation, it's part of the gig, having this blood. You know, on the positive side too, you know, I still have my mom and my oldest brother. He's 7 years older than me. And we're such a tight family. And, you know, we've always really operated with like, it's the four of us and, you know, it's us against the world, you know? And so thank God I've had that. If I didn't, I don't know. And maybe I could have been angry at him, but I don't know. I mostly just wish we would have talked. No anger, just wishing he would have spoken.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm prefacing this question with, I'm the youngest of 6 kids in only 9 years, and there's 3 different fathers. Did you all have the same father?
Yeah, same dad.
And then he just was out of the picture though for each child, or just when you were born? How did that happen?
By the time I was there, his presence was very clear that it needs to not be there.
Oh, okay.
You know, and he was spotty anyways. He got his own thing going on, and that just has to be understood, you know? And it's like, okay, man, you know, it's too bad because especially being a father now, it's like, man, I cannot wait to take part in every single second of my son's life.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that he does, I want to know about. Anything that he likes, I want to know. If it makes him sad, I want to know. I've seen him throughout the years because he still lives in Spokane. And occasionally I'll be like, oh, there he is, or, you know, or whatever. And
Oh, your father. Oh, I thought you meant your son.
my father. And it's like, you don't deserve to know. You have no right to know if I'm doing good, if I'm doing bad.
Mm-hmm.
You have no right to anything, you know?
Yeah.
I always grew up wanting to know what it would be like to have a dad who's there. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember being a little boy and being in the backyard, my mom's house, with a baseball and tossing it and praying, saying, hey, Jesus, say, grab the ball and throw it to me.
Mm.
You know, I'd love to play ball with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know, miracles don't work on demand. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I had 2 amazing brothers, but that makes kind of a weird dynamic with friendships with like older mentor type males.
Mm.
You know, we have to be like equal footing, or else I literally don't know how to deal with it.
Oh, interesting.
You want to mentor me? Why? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want from me?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes into me, I'm like, geez, what am I? Still a teenager? I can help it, but it's hard to recognize it. When I do realize it happened, I go, oh yeah, I did that again. Dang it.
You know what? I just realized recently that I am still the little girl that is bratty sometimes and needy sometimes and longing sometimes. And so I think maybe, yes, you are still that teenage boy that wants the dad that you wished you had. Do you think that's right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Getting to be there for my son.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it doesn't quite look like that I wanted in the way that I dreamed, you know, we are separated, me and my son. And
Mm-hmm.
I still see him all the time, you know, but it's not the way that I dreamed in my mind, you know?
Yeah.
And instead of being depressed and being sad and diving into all the things that would make sense given my psychological roll of the dice, it's like, well, no, forget it. I'm going to be a part of everything that I can to the highest degree. He's not going to even realize, this will be normal and above and beyond. I just always had this picture of one day being the dad that I always wanted and being the husband that I wanted my mom to have,
Yeah.
My mom has always been so present. It's like in the way that having a disabled mom, you can feel bitter about that or whatever. I've seen it in life around me. And I'm just so grateful. My mom was able to be there with me every day, present every day. And I was born early, so I had to do a lot of physical therapy, and my mom knew how to run the machines in the hospital. When I got home, she does all this physical therapy with me because she was able, she was able to homeschool us. And that was very much a conversation from as far back as I can remember. We have to break the generational traumas. We have to break the curses. We have to overcome these things because that's why we're here.
Beautiful.
That's what we're called to do. And I may not have had one half of me, but I had 5 times I'm so grateful for who my mother is. She is the most incredible human being I've ever met. And to have gone through as many things as she has and to still be like a firm, positive believer in God and happiness and joy and peace and a possibility of heaven on earth is like, how do you do this? like, whoa, I see her all the time, her and I hang out. She's like my best friend.
Oh, good.
I like listening to records with her, and I'll be like, hey mom, where were you when you bought this record? Who were you hanging out with when you bought this record? I just I want to know about her life. I think that's been the coolest thing is, to kind of further advance my story here. Born early, that was difficult, but then through a lot of effort, I feel like I had a pretty normal childhood in terms of ability. I was able to go out and play and able to have fun, maybe a little bit of asthma here and there, but whatever. When I was 16, I was done with theater. So I went to public high school, went to West Valley High School because my brother went there. 1998. I get to watch my brother on a production of Bye Bye Birdie. And I had seen church plays, and that was my bar for theater. And then I go and see Bye Bye Birdie, and I was like, oh, I want to do something like that. And my brother just killed it in the role. He was Mr. McAfee. It left such an impression on me. I was like, one day I want to do that too. So I went to West Valley. I became a theater guy, lead roles, everything. I love it. You find what you love, and it's not even effort to thrive in it. You just love doing it, At 16, my good friends, the juniors and seniors, they've graduated. I'm a junior. And I'm like, well, I think I want to play sports. And I would go to play football. I go to tryouts. And literally one day I could run as long as I wanted. And then I get to tryouts and suddenly I can't run. And wow, it really hurt.
Oh, your chest, you're saying?
And what the heck is happening here? Yeah, my chest. And it's like, what's going on here? I go and see doctor after doctor after doctor. All of them come to the conclusion, well, son, you're an enigma. We don't know what's going on. They throw out ideas of what maybe it could be. And, it doesn't really turn out, doesn't really pan out. Okay, whatever. I'll just live with it. I go to college. I get the Achieving Scholarship through West Valley. I was the 7th cohort, part of it. I was so proud and so yeah, I'm going to represent my people. And I go to Eastern. I do a few quarters and I'm struggling because this chest thing keeps getting worse. There's days I wake up and I can't even do anything. My arms just shaking but nobody knows what's going on. So forget about it. And, I got a lump in the side of my chest, or on my side under my armpit, but nobody knows what it is. So forget about it, And I wake up. This was 5 days before my 22nd birthday, November 2nd. What is this, 2011, 2012? I wake up and I'm sick as a dog. I'm hallucinating in my room. And I'm like, whoa. And I had just been fired from a job for insubordination. They asked me to clean something. I cleaned it as far as I could. And my hand was just, I couldn't,
Oh.
And I expressed that to my bosses, but it was an invisible disability, and they're like, okay, yeah, sure. Okay, Dahveed. I get fired from that job. My band breaks up and I'm all depressed and 21 and oh God. This hallucination thing happens and I ain't got nothing. And I'm like going to the welfare office, trying to get on food stamps. And, the lady's like, don't do drugs before you come in here. And I'm like, I'm not doing drugs.
Oh,
I'm
man.
so sick,
Yeah.
So I go into the hospital to the ER. They give me a CT. My mom gets there. My brother gets there. And the doctor says, hey, we gave you a scan. Your chest is filled with tumors.
Mm.
Filled with tumors. I'm not going to tell you what's going on. I mean, I'm just the ER doctor. We need to figure this stuff out. And so, they wait until all the pneumonia is out of my chest. And that took like 3 months. But like, I was thrilled because it's like, wait, you know what's going on.
Exactly.
And they decide, okay, they're acting locally malignant, but we might be able to just cut them off the nerve and maybe you'll be fine, And so it's like, could it have been a luckier thing? I don't think so. They remove the nerve. They see inflamed nodes were caused by the pneumonia because I had double pneumonia twice in a year.
Oh.
And the doctor's like, that kills 8 out of 10 people. So I guess you're 2 out of 10. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks.
So you're miracle after miracle is what you are. You're meant to be here for sure.
I'm meant to be here for the sheer fact that my son's here. And,
Yes, I do.
He's why I'm here.
Yeah.
They remove him. I still can't feel this side of my body. It feels weird.
Oh, today you still can't?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And a year later, I ended up having back surgery. I had some herniated discs. We didn't know why that happened. That was just another little bump in the road. 8 months of physical therapy. And then I'm finally like getting ready to finally go back to school. And I'm working at a fast food joint. I signed back up. I was going to be a teacher, high school teacher, teach English and history. I'm on this track. And a dear friend of mine, he's a Cornish grad. He was part of that crop of people that left West Valley. He meets up with me and he goes, hey, I got a year left in Cornish. You're never going to hear me say this again. And him and I were like bitter rivals in school. And he goes, and we became friends later in life. And he's like, I'm doing this art stuff and I'm doing okay, but you're better at it than I am. I changed majors that next week because I was like, well, if he says that, then so it is. Changed majors and it's like the rest is like history. I haven't stopped,
I love that.
I was most likely to be famous in high school, which obviously means that I'm destined for a Hollywood star.
Totally are. I bet you are.
Well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't pay the bill.
What do you mean the bill? You have to buy it?
Yeah, I've heard it's like $25,000 a year or something.
What?
To keep your yeah. So it's like it's earned. Sure, like there's criteria for you to be able to get the acceptance for the application, but you gotta pay.
That's crazy.
I know. Everything's about money.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like
doesn't
that.
It make you ill?
Yeah, because you have to be rich to have a star.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I made that short film and, me and my roommate, who's my DP, he's like, what do you think people are going to think? I said, well, I only really have one audience member. I want to know what they think. And that's my brother, because I just want to be like, hey, bro, check it out. I think it's scary. Check this out. You're better at scary things than me. I want to know what you think.
Yeah.
Anyone else that likes it, cool. Thank you. Thanks for watching it. Please tell me what you thought, but, I never made film until suddenly I did. I was an adjunct at SFCC. I was going to direct a Jacobean play called The Witch. And I was super excited. I dove into that script and then boom, pandemic. And they're like, Dahveed, so we can't do in person, but do you think you want to can you direct a film via Zoom? Do you have the equipment to do it? I did not have the things I needed to do it, but I go, yes, of course I can. I taught myself how to use a Mac. I taught myself how to use Final Cut Pro 10.
Awesome.
While starting a new position at my job. I'm on the road doing things, and then at night I'm in a hotel editing this piece and just going crazy. It's like, thank God nobody was there, because I'm like standing up going, oh, you don't know anything. You're such a fool. Why did you say yes to this? Now I'm like super in love with the idea of making film. But when we first released that piece, I was shaking like a I was shaking like a son of a bitch because I knew I was intimately aware of the fact that it was going to last forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what if it sucks? People are going to rip this apart. People are going to say I sucked. Oh no. And the college is going to feel like, well, we wasted our money on this fool. And just all these self-doubt thoughts creeping in my head. Because that's something I love about the theater is that it's up and then it's gone. And at the end of it being up, we all get together and we do something called a post-mortem where we talk about it. And hey, the way that I run them is like, what did you learn from this show that you're going to take with you?
Mm-hmm.
What was a beautiful moment for you in this show anytime throughout it? I really like to celebrate the good. It's Konstantin Stanislavski. He's an acting theorist. And it's like he goes through all these chapters of telling you how to be critical, how to get better, how to do this, how to do that. And then he kind of rounds all of that out with saying, well, now that you have all of that in your head, don't forget to celebrate what's beautiful. And the fact that people create at all is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like to stick in that realm because art's sensitive. It's like my inner circle should be the only people I need. I don't need approval from anyone, but if I do, it should only be my inner circle.
Well, and really, I guess as long as you're proud of it, it doesn't even matter if it doesn't speak to them because you're the only audience that matters, I think.
That's right. My whole life has really become art and creation and
it's beautiful.
Building other people up. I'm a co-founder of a nonprofit organization called Spokane Playwrights Laboratory. And the whole purpose of this is to create a community that thrives on supporting people who will write a play and want it up. And that's so hard to do. There's so many steps between it. Being a playwright is next to impossible because not only are you facing up against people alive, you're facing up against playwrights who are dead. It's like, how do you possibly break into that? Now we have this nonprofit that says, here's how you work with us. Oh, and by the way, everybody's going to get paid for that. By the way, we're going to dedicate to you and we're going to get you connected with theaters that your show can have a world premiere.
Wow.
My son's 4 years old. By the time he's 10 years old, in 10 years, he's 14, he's a freshman in high school, just like I was. And if he comes up to his dad, like I didn't get to, and says, Dad, I want to make art like you. First, I'm going to cry. And then second, I'm going to go, hey, Maxwell, I built this for you. And this is a safe environment where you can feel free to create. Safe in terms of you're not going to be judged or hurt for what you put out there. I don't think there's actually a real safe space. I think there's only brave spaces because it takes a lot of bravery to come out and spill what's in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's brave as hell to be able to create an environment where we go, hey, look, you wrote this. We're going to work on it. We're going to put forth all of our effort to making this thing great with you, for you. We're just going to be a conduit to what you're doing. That's really what it's about. And, if I'm dead in, well, I will be dead in like 70 years. I hope. I don't want to live to 100. And Spokane Playwrights Laboratory, God help us, is still going. And people don't even mention the name Dahveed Bullis, then good, because it's not about me. It's about what comes out of the work.
Mm-hmm. That was very beautiful. Thank you for sharing all that.
Well, and truly, I think that I've been drawn to your work. We didn't even have a connection. And I don't really know how we became friends on Facebook.
I don't either.
Maybe, you had done a shoot with somebody I knew and they were tagged and I was like, okay. I don't remember, but I've been drawn to your work because there's something about you.
Oh, thank you.
You're like, I really want to spend time with this person and make art with her.
I understand what you're saying because I think I can't help but want to create. I am so happy about this podcast because the same way I'm making photographs, it's just what you're saying. It's forever. I'm editing it to what I want it to look like. for the audience of me.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with the podcast. I could just take this whole audio and post it up there, but I'm going to take every second of it and make sure it's exactly beautiful and it's perfect. And I've created something. So I totally understand what you're saying. And that's, I think, why it choked me up, because
you're a director by nature.
yeah, I feel like I'm really creating something, especially the episode I did with my daughter. I think, my mom passed away when I was 18, and I'm so happy my daughter has that episode with me and her, because my voice is there forever. Our love is there forever. I wish I had that for my mother.
Even after when you lose somebody, it's like you really understand just how much every little thing that exists, and especially if there's video. There are so many videos on YouTube of my brother and I playing music together.
Oh, good.
And I remember the night that he took himself off the planet, and I'm just looking at these videos, just wishing with all of my might that I could be like Blue's Clues and be, Blues could do, we could too, and just be right in there,
Yes, yes.
To kind of get back to what you just said with your daughter having that opportunity to be able to have a conversation between you and her. That's, wow. Anytime I make something, I go, I wonder what Maxwell will think about this when he's older.
Yeah.
I wonder what he'll think. And I make him these little movies. I've made them for him since we were separated. And they're with a little porcupine stuffed animal, and they're called Pokey's Adventures. And I'm on season 2 now. And I just take this little guy around and show him the world. He used to live in my car, and every time Maxwell would be in the car, I go, "Hey, Maxwell, Pokey, he's still in the car. You got to tell him about what we were doing."
Sweet.
And he let me keep him. When he was leaving, I go, "Hey, Pokey doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay with me. Can I show him the world now?" And Maxwell's like, "Yeah, you can." So now he gets these little movies, and it's like, I can't not make these for him. But I wonder sometimes when he gets them, what's he going to think? What's he going to think? He visited me last month for the first time within the pandemic. And this was an incredible thing. He starts setting up toys. He looks at me and goes, "Dad, this is for the Pokey movie." I'm like, like, I can't believe you just said that.
I love that.
I feel like he's letting me know that him and I haven't lost anything.
Well, you haven't. My dad and mom divorced when I was 2, and I only saw my dad for 24 hours every week, from Friday night to Saturday night. And all of my childhood memories are of my father, not my mother, because he was present every time we were together. He was involved. You don't have to be there physically to make a difference. He feels your love.
Dude, and FaceTime is crazy. Like just the other day, we're talking. His mom goes out to go take care of some food, and he takes the blankets, he puts them over himself. And this is like something like I could never have this opportunity as a full-formed human in the room with him, Yeah. And I'm under the blankets with him, and I hear his mom come in, and she's like, "Maxwell?" And he goes, "Dad, Mom can't see us." And he just puts the camera down, and I could just see his face looking so serious, to be quiet. "Shh, Dad, quiet." And, she leaves the room, and he lifts the blankets and looks out and goes, I'm getting such a cool experience to be with him in his way, given my history. Every single day is borrowed time. I don't deserve any of this, and to have any of it is like, okay, wow. How can I make a difference today? I obviously need to. It's so cool to be alive. The pandemic was crazy. If anything, it just reminded human beings that we really need to be together. We really need to see each other. We really need to see each other. And there's still so much division and anger, and I wish I could fix that, especially being of mixed race. It's like, how about we just love each other? I'm both. I don't know what to say. In college, I got the chance to play Tom Robinson in To Kill a Mockingbird. And that was such a brain moment. It was like, what would it be like to be me then?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, what would it be like?
Well, and your son has a much better chance, than you had even, because I think we're all evolving. At least I hope so.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And that's really what it's about, getting your end of the family tree a little bit further. And
Yeah.
then this twig's going to make it even further. And then this branch is going to make it even further and even get stronger. And legacy.
Yeah.
Legacy.
I am so moved to tears here. I can't stop tearing up. I'm so glad we did this. I knew you would be great to interview, but I had no idea how moved I would be. And so I appreciate you.
I'm so grateful to be here.
I appreciate your energy and your vibe. And I said vibe because I've been watching Love Island, just so you know. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, we vibe it.
I just really am honored that you shared your story with me, and I appreciate your outlook on life. And that is the goal of this podcast. And you are the perfect person to interview.
Thank you so much. Thank you for getting Boo Radley out of his house. Honestly, I was a little nervous because I'm like, man, what am I even going to talk about? What's she going to ask about? And just really, really thank you for giving a space where I feel okay to be brave.
I love the brave space. Thank you for that also.
You bet.
You are the epitome of See Beneath Your Beautiful. So thank you so much.
You're lovely. You're great. And I can't wait to see where the future is going to take us all.
Yeah, me too. Me too. We covered a lot. I could still ask more questions, but I think it's beautiful where it's gone. And I just need a photo of you that you'd like me to use for the cover art.
Sure. You could even use one that this really good photographer took.
I'll use the one I took if that's the one you're good with.
I'm very good with that. I have some headshots, but what I love about the picture that you took above headshots is that you were trying to tell who I am. You're trying to capture me, as opposed to a headshot that's like trying to capture capitalism.
I'd like to call them heart shots, but I know a photographer in Canada who calls them heart shots, and I don't want to steal that from him, but I feel like that's what I'm doing. Someday I'll have to massage it a little so it's not stealing it from him, but it's really what I hope to do is capture somebody's heart and who they are.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. From one artist to another, I love it.
These four walls open to centers within. We built worlds, we were safe. I still needed you. You were my best friend. Can't believe it's true. It's not the end. Don't you know how much everyone loved you? Don't you care what you left in your wake? You're a giant with a mighty big shadow, and behind it I always felt safe. I still needed you. You were my best friend. Can't believe it's true. do. But memory fades to black. Over time, I'm doing just fine, and I'm thinking of all the words that you said that you'll never take back. Oh, these memories, oh, they'll do. But memory fades to black. Over time, I'm just fine, and I'm thinking of when you tell me you love me, and I see